Hey there everybody, Jason here, and I'm just gonna show a little video about a trip that I took to Austin, Texas. So, of course, on the way there was a bit of driving out to a place called Deming, and ran into a weird gas station situation. Got a brand new gas station, all bright, clean, got a subway attached to it. They got like a weird, old, scary gas station with no gas pumps. And sadness inside its back room. Oh yeah, place was like really weird. It looks like it was an old shell, and like it was super dark inside. A couple broken windows. I took a couple pictures. First one didn't really show anything, but the second one, like, there was a cat just staring right at me, even though I'd said that, oh, there's nothing here. But yeah, more driving. Dude, this drive is so long. Can't quite remember where this one was. Oh, this was Clint. It's this fancy gas station. Texas. Rawr.
Sad hot dogs.
Sad hot dog. Had a good view though. Really like this picture.
There's a meme trending that replaces the Christmas elf on a shelf rhyme with other random themes that rhyme.
It's the same one that we saw as we were leaving friggin' Arizona.
Or strike on a deck or even
But they did it slightly better than the other place did.
So is everything on the internet.
And the pictures didn't look like garbage.
It's time for the word of the day.
It's just freaking talking about there's a new meme. And I'm just like, what? I don't understand.
It's time for the word of the day.
You just gave me the word of the day. It was quite a drive. I think it was like some 2,000 miles or something like that. And me and my friend Hannah took turns driving our little RAV4 across the country. Stopped. We had to make this weird pit stop, and it was just like a little chevron on top of a hill, and just like a set of pumps. It's pretty great. Bathroom was trash. But then again, I think the guy lived there and was very sad. Dude, so much drove. So much drove. So much drive! Dude, there was like no point in time where we weren't seeing like tires on the side of the road or just dead animals just littering everything. I mean, there was like no one to come pick it up. But yeah, I think this is like the most expensive gas that we actually hit on our way there. Started running into like these Sunoco stripes, which I'm just like not very familiar with seeing. But it was just amazing how every time we stopped at the side of the road, there was just like nothing. Just like these little pickup towns, and then we stopped at a place called Junction.
Water and like.
And we finally made it
Lots
to
of
Austin.
condiments.
Yeah.
And a sad fridge full of just nothing but condiments.
Tupperware tubs full of things.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they have a lot of couches people can sleep on. You know, like
Yeah.
they have.
I kind of like this little like CD thing in the hallway. It's like a.
I honestly wouldn't mind sleeping on like something like this couch.
But it turns out that the apartment, they were having like fights with their neighbors with the fan and the lights and everything. And then there was this really sad hotel that looked like it was just like renters. We went to this place called Tarbouche, which was like a Mediterranean hookah restaurant. Food was really good. Hookah was okay. We probably could have done better ourselves.
Should have been like, let me make the bowl. Well, hopefully the food's amazing. So. There you go.
It was just nice to actually stop at some place after like 16 hours of driving, maybe like an hour and a half of sleep. Found an old closed Radio Shack store. They want to keep Austin, Texas weird, but they didn't have quite enough letters. There's these cool like hot dog or not cool taco places is what I meant to say. Cute fire engines. Really nice decorations on trees when we were going down their main street. And of course a Pennywise sign. Spent a lot of time walking, stopped at quite a few cafes, tried out some local stuff, met some doggos. There was lots of dogs. definitely seemed to be the land of squirrels. But we stopped at this really cool deli. They had the Christopher Walken sandwich, which I ended up picking up. It was a special that they had running at the time. A little bit spicy, but really good. This place seemed like it was super packed all the time. I really liked the way that it looked. Just this little tiny house out in the middle of this little parking lot with this really cool sign out in front of it, which is actually probably the reason why I stopped there. Nice painted sign for Austin, Texas. And then the lady that we were renting the place from, she worked at this cafe. We stopped there eventually. Got that little soap stop, little rubber duckies, and then of course an obligatory painted wall.
He doesn't do it a bunch of times.
Nice little creek that we passed by on the way past the squirrels.
I need a red license because I got it snaked.
And it was a super rainy day, and we ended up spending some time walking around the city. Ended up at a couple like really nice green areas, which I mean compared to Phoenix, this is super green, but very nice. I like the city a lot. We were really close to downtown Austin, which is where the capital city is, the Capitol building is, and so we were just sort of exploring, taking our time. We ended up walking like, oh god, like 12 miles or so in basically pouring rain, but you'll see that later. I'm more concentrating on where the camera's going and not where I'm going, and so, but I'm very lucky I didn't end up face down in that mud. But yeah, super nice park. Right next to some sort of like theater where we're guessing they were doing some sort of business expo at the time. Saw lots of business people doing business things. And of course, somebody has a unicorn with a flat. Gotta fix it. Stopped at this little dog shop, which looks like it had actually been made out of a fast food restaurant. Met another doggo. It was very sweet, but just wanted their little ball. He's super happy.
Hey, buddy.
We stopped at this place called Lick. It had lots of really cool, unique ice cream flavors, and I think I got like what was it? Honey and like goat cheese with like a beetroot. Saw these cute little metal armadillos. We spent a lot of time waiting for buses. Mainly just because it was raining, and we were actually trying to extend our range a lot. Metro system in Austin was fantastic. Got some really cool shots of the city. There's some speakeasy up there, which I thought was kind of cool because just neat. And then Batman bike stands. Went to a bar called Blackheart. Had a couple drinks. Bartender was super nice. And I don't know, it's just a really cool looking place. Looks like it was, again, an old converted house. And but yeah, super nice. Looked really great. Very happy. The town was basically a river by the time we were hitting like the second half of the day, and we had to be really careful about getting wet. And we actually had to come down these stairs, which were basically a river on their own. So I'm sitting here looking at this little building, looks like a castle with a little secret room on top of it. I'm imagining that there's some sort of like CEO that has like a circle desk on a swivel chair. He just like looks around at the entire city and be like, yes, I own all of this. And then we went looking for a hookah restaurant, but instead we went on a wild goose chase. Ended up here, which is this closed down weird building complex, and then we ended up at this place because it had a second address. And lo and behold, it had an open sign, so we went inside it.
This is the weirdest place I've ever been in.
Yeah, it looked abandoned. We didn't expect that to be inside that at all, but ended up finding an actual nice hookah place. Spent a couple times there.
Similar to the pitch first thing that he didn't.
Did you film it, or did it not get filmed?
It might not.
You're a bit of an object. What gets you good here? There's no jokes way up on the back.
To feed or seed, you're gone now.
That's so cool. Whoa, that was weird.
I like. Oh, my finger hit here. I like deflated it.
I'm waiting for it to pop. It may never pop.
Just keep filming. Looks like a little light bulb.
It does. It may stay like that forever.
Just film it till it pops. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, we should come back tomorrow and happy hour.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see, like, because if we come here early, maybe we can go, like, someplace, like, after.
Yeah.
Do the poke bowl for lunch, come here, and then see if there's something around, or an area around.
Okay. Oh man. I say we just let him stay there for a while.
Yes. Oh, all done.
But we had a good day this day. It was the end of our second day. We had actually been able to spend the whole day exploring, and we got super far. Again, like I said, we went about like 12 miles. That was just walking. Like we went another like 10 miles out with the bus. Ended up seeing a lot of like university grounds. This little bit of the city was actually pretty cool. It had lots of little restaurants. We ended up going to a donut shop called Ken's Donuts. They were actually really cool. The guys inside were really nice. I'd asked for like a curry, and they said they were gonna make it like super not spicy for me, but it was kind of spicy. But they were like, "You're not gonna pay for it then." We ended up like having to force them to let us pay for it, at least half price. But they were super nice. So this place called H-E-B, which was like the only main grocery store that we saw. Lo and behold, it's done by H-E Butt, which made it even funnier. They had a whole section of Whataburger sauces. Whataburger seemed to be like the main like fast food chain inside Texas. We saw them all over the place. I swear to God, there was one Burger King when we were walking in, or sorry, driving in, and I didn't see any others. Yeah, in McDonald's, Subways, a couple Starbucks, but we seem to be in an area where only Whataburgers existed. Before we left, we decided to go to the restaurant that the person that rented out our apartment worked at. We didn't meet her though, which is a little bit sad, but that's okay. We ended up back at the hookah place. So here's an effort little shot during the daytime. We decided we're going to take a nice easy day and relax. So we started off there, and then we went to a museum in downtown Austin. We went there to go see an exhibit called Pixel to Pokemon, but instead we ended up looking around the museum a little bit at all the history stuff. This was about a ship that had basically crashed on the coast of Texas. They'd actually recovered part of it and rebuilt it, which was really kind of cool. The Pong to Pokemon thing, we had like 5 minutes to look at it. There's a cool mural on the downstairs part of the museum too, and then that was it. We were done. We had lunch, got some more gas, and hit the road again. So even more driving was to be had. But all in all, it was a great vacation. I really needed it. I don't typically get to go lots of places. And when Hannah had told me that she wanted to go take a trip to Texas, she wanted me to come with her, I was just like, sure. I jumped at the opportunity. We saw lots of cool stuff, and we didn't even care the fact that it was raining. And honestly, unless we had gone down there for like any sort of like special event, we didn't really miss anything either. But it's just a lot of fun. Ate lots of cool food, saw lots of cool things and sights. The nightlife for Austin was super neat. They have lots of food trucks and little niche cafes and restaurants open that basically just like walk in, get something, and just move on to see something else that's cool. It seems to have that same sort of like vibe that you would expect like Portland, Oregon to have, where they're all like, keep Portland weird. I mean, that seems to be the same thing for Austin, but it was definitely interesting. The one thing that surprised both of us is just how green Austin was. There was just lots of trees and everything, and from having driven across the panhandle of Texas a couple times, I really didn't expect to see anything like that, so it kind of blew me for a loop. But honestly, I was okay with it. The surprise was good. It was actually like really humid, if all of the rain didn't make that completely obvious to us, which coming from basically a desert in Phoenix made it incredibly taxing on our bodies, because we basically just spent the entire time sweaty and sticky from humidity. There's a couple places that I think that we could have ended up going to. Like, I think we wanted to check out a bar or two, and then there was like some like liquid nitrogen ice cream place that unfortunately we didn't get to go to because of the weather, so they never opened. But it was definitely a lot of fun. The drive back was basically, it seemed longer than the drive there. It was a little bit taxing. I think both of us ended up being quite cranky and done with driving by the end of it. But we made it, and everything went just fine. I mean, definitely was worth it. I think that if we had spent any more time there, we would have just ended up getting bored. Then I gotta take a turn driving. It was fun driving her little car. I've never driven it before, but I like little tiny cars, even though I'm like 6 feet tall. I fit in there pretty snug. I tried very hard to capture some footage of like sunset, but it was incredibly difficult because it was taking forever, and I thought that it was, well, I thought it was taking forever. But it was just the fact that I was incredibly bored from driving, and so I was impatient at the sun actually falling. So I waited and waited and took some more shots.
I can't believe I thought the drive to San Diego was bad.
Oh, you did?
What's wrong with me? Yeah, it's like 5 hours.
We would have been there been back almost.
What the fuck is wrong with me?
I finally captured some footage of a train. Not very well. It's kind of far away, but we saw train tracks all over the place, and I was like, why haven't I seen any trains going like cross country? Then I actually started to get into the actual sunset, so you'll have to excuse the angle that I was taking. But I don't know, it was super pretty. I liked it a lot. Seeing everything that was happening like through the sky and everything like that was just very neat. I mean, it's the only thing to look at. Either way, it was quite amazing to understand like how far we had to drive. I think it was like about 1,000 miles or so. Texas took forever. Like, all of our stops were Texas. Aside from like one stop in New Mexico on the way in back home, we weren't even basically scheduled to stop in New Mexico. Like, we could just drive through New Mexico entirely without having to worry about it. And we just basically made a stop on the border of Arizona. That was it. Our entire trip basically took us most of the time through Texas. I spent the entire time looking for the leaving New Mexico sign. Barely saw it.
Like, we know you're feeling down, prisoners.
Watch the
I'll throw you up there.
Awesome tracks by me and a bunch of other artists, and exclusive video for me and my friends that are
But in the end, that's basically it. Great time in Texas, well-deserved vacation. A little bit of a break from everything that I was doing for me and my friend Hannah. And I'm just going to leave it here. This is just a little checkpoint that we were hitting in New Mexico. And then basically that was it. I spent a lot of the rest of the time driving until we swapped a little bit back before I got home, just due to extreme boredom. I was just getting a little bit too crazy. But anyway, Thankfully, Hannah got us the rest of the way, and I got home safely, and I could make up this video. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I know it's probably incredibly boring, but I certainly had a lot of fun. Either way, we'll see you guys later. I'll put up more content soon, and if I get a chance to take another trip like this, I will definitely make more videos detailing my adventures. And as always, thanks for watching.